Hello, welcome back. I am Lady Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side. How are you all in this wonderful community? We have reviews from the dark side again, so let's get the disclaimer out the way because I can't be trusted now, can I? We are full of so much adult content, and some of you think this isn't necessary, and some of you think this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out. But I'll say this only once: if you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started and are we ready? What are we covering today? As I said, it's reviews from the dark side. This is an old movie that we're going to be covering. It's just that we do a lot of exorcism religious horror on the podcast, and there's this movie that when I was going through a kind of exorcism type conspiracy type of mood that I decided, you know what? I am going to do this movie. I hadn't heard much about it, but we all love a good conspiracy. It came out in 2021, I believe. It's called The Exorcism of God. So you know what we're like here at Confessions. A good old exorcism in Catholic Church conspiracy is just awesome when they try and show us something. And it's always nothing. But the same shit as this is a different take in exorcisms and how no one is actually safe, not even God himself. Let's break down this movie and find out what we thought about it. I don't know about you, but will there ever be another Viking? Will there ever be anybody able to have the brilliance and the hysteria for a movie to break records, still spook and scare us, the audience, as The Exorcist does, still, to this day? So no one has ever been able to to do that crazy that we had with The Exorcist, and no one has ever been able to give us a right good scare, even from memory, as The Exorcist did, and still does. The fact the story was based around is no longer with us. They have, over the past few years, released their name from The Exorcist and their ordeal, which was from a Jesuit priest who was actually working with a case with the child to save them. Everything that went along was based on experiences and such. Let's see what the Exorcism of God has to offer and what we thought of it. So grab a drink and a snack and get comfortable. Are you sitting comfortably? Shall we begin? Let's delve into the Exorcism of God and let's see what we think. What you think and what we should expect. So the movie starts off with a woman. She's possessed. They portray her as any demon, obsessed with doing things not in the true nature of the human, its host. Oversexed, and well, she's doing all the things that a true Catholic would never even dream of sharing. She was showing her breast to a priest for one, showing the priest she's rubbing one out. Also, she had her temperature gauges were so hard that they should have been registered as an offensive weapon because they were taking more than an eye out. And I was not nipple shaming there, but she kind of looked like the princess in 13 Ghosts. So her eyes go from glowing to normal after her climax. Then she starts kissing the prince, yes. And he has no control. He keeps kissing her. Yeah. And then the demon entity is in him. So it's like a transfer. This is all being filmed, him watching her and mounting her and kissing her, all of which a priest would never do. They shouldn't even think about it, let alone act on it. The entity is doing this to show they did not respect nor care who he was and what he was doing, as it goes against their beliefs and their oath to become a priest. But don't ever let people think that priests have never had sex, because most of them actually have. They make this choice apparently to give up all that fun stuff and then become a devout Christian, sorry, a Catholic, and well, devote their life to Jesus, to God. Fair play to you if that's what you want to do, but hey. Then the movie starts with another priest in South America setting the scene of shit is happening. We need a bigger boat. They also have an exorcism moment with the priest outside in the light. You know, like, you're really going to go frightened about this? This priest is traveling somewhere. They've done the bird's eye view of the vehicle. He sees the demon. I'm under the impression he's not the same priest. Is he? It's weird. Doing the Lord justice, speaking to a higher priest or bishop, maybe a cardinal. I get mixed up. But he's no regular priest. This is how the exorcisms are investigated. There are channels that you have to go through before you actually get to said exorcism, where they send in an official to check to see if it's mental health, to check to see if it is a possession, to check to see if do any research on the person, the family, or anything like that, to see if, you know, they wave any red flags, and most likely probably do. But then they ignore them because, well, they seem to like doing exorcism even though they say they don't. A lot of money for destiny. The priest is offered a big fat envelope of cash. Of course he's going to say no. No questions asked. He take back his treasures to his congregation. I wonder why. This exorcism is 20-year-old. It was on VHS, and the priest is rewatching it like he's punishing himself for you to because this really confused me. If he did what he did and it was reported and it was also on video, and even though if they destroyed it, he still would have to admit what he did in confession. He'd have to admit to his superiors what he did. So either he kept it or they've let another sin, cardinal sin, for breaking many, many laws. Not only laws, but laws within your lore of your fictitious Bible and everything else along with it. So when you think about it, there's a lot of things that may or may not have happened, but did happen, but they're just choosing to forget about it, pay them off, and that's it. He still seems to be punishing himself for mounting the demon host. He's doing that I must torture myself for filthy thoughts or my past actions. Does he realise this is a turn on? So in all this, he's rewatching his past mistakes and he had no control, apparently. So he's basically rewatching a sex tape of an exorcism, basically. So it's just like really, really, because that's just as bad as having a wank or masturbating, having a wee rub there, because you literally are committing a crime in Catholicism if you rub one out. It's literally every time you masturbate, like God dies or something, or God loses life. Who the fuck knows? Saying no and bad is just like sign me up. And again, gave me memories of being at school and having issues. It's like taking past journeys and memories, obscured ones at that, and just like throwing them in there. He's in his basically his parish, and it's like Jeebus is off the cross, and he's in the corner. Jump scare. I actually laughed. Zombie Jeebus. I knew it. He rose again because he was a zombie, and that's what the Exorcism possession game is. The university's first zombie killer or apocalypse, and Jeebus started it. When he rose again, the possessions, etc., are all because of Jeebus. That was my take on it. The one you pray to is the chase of it. This is what I'm seeing from this movie. He's having a wet, sweaty dream. He woke up by a call from a prison warden. Again, very, very pornographic. If it sounds like a pornographic story, it sounds like a porno story. It really does. Have you ever known a priest to wear flannel pajamas? Well, they don't have priest pages, apparently. There's a woman basically in this prison, and they've got her all tied up and stuff. She's chained up for her own safety, apparently. But the way the women are in this prison, it seems to be like where they live, it's so backwards, like it was the 1800s here, and things like that, where if women showed any sort of affliction towards enjoying sex, wanting sex, and know what they fucking want, they were taken to places like this, and they were told that they were hysteric, and that pretty much needed lobotomized and stuff. So pretty much this places all these women who either know what they want, they're not subservient, and therefore they've been put in there. Some people might be in there for mental health problems, but a lot of the time they're put in there if you cause any problems, including this young woman who's about 20, who keeps stroking her thigh and being inappropriate as fuck, which sounds exactly like myself. Not saying that I'm possessed or anything, but it wouldn't be surprising if I was. She says, I'm wet for you again. And then she laughs. This like drip of blood from her lady parts. And she's horny for the Lord again, apparently. The priest, like she's been waiting on him. Because the priest has showed up at the prison because obviously he got a phone call to show up. And she just keeps laughing at him, taunting him. And that's pretty much what demons actually do. They break out of wherever the fuck they are. Then go into someone's body, and then they throw the fuck out of priests. What a way. Nothing productive there. A loud noise, and it's torturing everyone. And then it ends. They're in the kitchen, all well, saying nothing, looking uncomfortable at a religious orgy because no one wants the priest there. No, they don't. He seems to be a buzzkill. The original woman that was horny for the priest in the exorcism shows up, and well, apparently he's fathered a child. She was a virgin as well, so she didn't believe in sex before marriage. So he not only had sex with her when he was possessed, but he also took her virginity and had sex with her. The first and only time it seems that she's had sex is with a fucking priest. Let that sink in. So the person who's possessed, shock horror, I had already worked that out, is his daughter that he created when he was possessed by the demon when he had sex with the other host. But like I said before, if the demon actually, this is how The Exorcist went in the other movies. I think it was Exorcist 3, Exorcist 2 or 3, and it must have been 2 actually, where Reagan is older, but see, because the demon's already been in there or the entity's already in there, they kind of leave like a calling card so they can actually go back. It kind of reminds me of Supernatural where angels, when they possess humans, they leave like a little door, like a little window open so they can go back. This seems to be, and it sounds about right. The priest had sex with her when he was possessed, but she had already been possessed by the entity, and when it actually transferred over to him, she would still have the entity inside her. So when she got pregnant, then the entity could technically, by association, because it's part of her DNA, be passed on to the child, which means that she could then later on be possessed by the same demon or entity. Because that's how it apparently works. That's how they portray it as, that they can randomly come back, or demons can randomly come back, because there is like a kind of like a already a tie to that world kind of thing. There's some gentle CNC between the priest and the possessor praying because there's a strange figure in your bed. Yeah. Demonic hands clutch onto him, and it's zombie Jesus telling him to get his hole, it seems. Again. Seems to be a theme, the hands. It's all about the hands, people. We keep seeing it. It's hands, 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 hands. And everything that we watch that's had a possession, it's or a demon, that, for example, Apartment 7A, it's all about hands. A young boy has died and his mother is being comforted by the horny priest. He says God will welcome him. Seriously, death of a child, your child? That is a pathetic thing to say to anyone. And for a child to die, for anybody to die, it's sad, but for a child to die, for them to say that God has a reason, a purpose, I'd be punching the prick in the fucking face. The priest works in an orphanage, and I found that a lot with religious horror, that a lot of the congregations and the churches are actually attached to things like hospitals, whether it's an actual hospital for all, or it's a children's hospital, or it's an orphanage or anything like that. So it seems to be in kind of rural areas where they do have this sort of parish. It is a hospital or an orphanage of some sort, because obviously when you go there, they have babies that are not supposed to, that they don't want to be shameful to their families and be incredibly backward apparently. Angel of Death, really surrounded by death of the innocent. They have another priest, and it's Jeffrey, the butler from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. As a priest, I couldn't take him seriously because, again, growing up watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you can't take it seriously at all. And he's helping him with the trauma. He knows everything about what happened before, but yeah, I don't think he's aware at this point there's a videotape that he's been watching. I don't give a fuck. He's rewatching something he did, and it's got a sexual act of him having sex with a member of his parish that was possessed, kissed, and then he was possessed, and then he had actually like banging her. What the fuck? Would that even be a grief fuck or a hate fuck? Who the fuck knows? He just gave the horny priest the mescal. They burn things, and he keeps seeing Jeebus. Because they're trying to think, oh, by burning the evidence, it surely will make it go away. Bitch, please, no. Because that's just showing you how guilty you are by fucking guilty, but guilt by association by doing that shit. You should have fucking destroyed it in the first place, or they should have kept it so it wouldn't have went to like prying eyes. But hey, we live in the possession of when he assaulted her while possessed. It looks like a disaster as the place is trashed and it's surrounded like like kinky time gone wrong. It was filmed. He keeps reliving it. They are calling him a saint. Okay. Jeebus is possessed by a demon, apparently. This is how he rose. Jeebus, when he went into, the tomb and then came back, apparently it was the demon that brought him up, and it's like, I knew it! There is no way in hell he just randomly appeared back. We're going to find out more of the 2,000 years ago, the demon tried to possess Christ and failed, and has been trying to possess holy men to fulfill their destiny, apparently, like a big fuck you. There's an nun praying to Mary, and the statue disappears, and she's been marked with blood on the forehead. She follows the blood and finds a white linen sheet with a baby covered in goo. And a possessed Mary with two different coloured eyes, and well, it's kind of hot as she drags and floats and then grabs the nun. The eyes are one amber and one blue, light and dark, ice, fire and ice, good and bad, pure and evil. Representation right there. Fuck, priest, you fucking whore. So basically, the priest has an interaction with the woman that he has a few aggressive pumps before he impregnated her when he was possessed and she was had just been exorcised apparently, and now their daughter, like I said, was possessed. This was a given why he would be tied to a random woman, a young woman, yet he couldn't sense his child. Most men can sense a connection to a child, and again, it's another instinct as humans that we can't turn off, by the way. But hey, he went in, did the deed as a possessed priest, and then got the virgin pregnant on his first go. They are claiming most priests have had sex. Like I said, most priests have had sex, believe it or not. I said, so they choose to give up fun for faith. Somehow that makes no sense whatsoever. Would you give up fun for faith? What the fuck? The nun has been exorcised by Jeffrey, apparently. Too little, too late. And it seems once they have been in once, as dirty as that sounds, there's a trace of them and they can always return. This also, like I said, happened to Reagan. They could still enter because they had a flag in her, like the return to sender, last known address kind of thing. The nun is free from the spirit, but the blood is on some of the kids in the orphanage, not all, meaning they are marked and probably chosen. Back with the daddy-daughter time, she's crying and said something about killing the kids. She knew he would come and save them. Jeffrey tells the priest to not negotiate or talk to the demon, because remember, you don't negotiate with terrorists. Technically, it's a terrorist to them. You don't negotiate and you don't give in to them and you don't let them know your weakness and you do not make eye contact, apparently. So, similar rules to an orgy: don't make eye contact. Don't look at another man's junk, very much. He also says this is no possession, let's get some mescal. She closes the door, then she pukes Gudrina on him, of course. He's going to leave the demon to rot with the tricks, and she laughs. Those eyes are really sexy, though. I couldn't stop staring at them. She's in the priest head, basically. Jeffrey gets into his head and uses his past to hurt him. The demon gets in there, and you know what they do. They always use your weaknesses, your past. And the thing is, it means that you must be thinking about them. You think you'd want to clear your mind being an exorcist, you know? Always the past, the fruits of your spoils, the lust of the unknown, spank that collection. Who the hell knows? If the demon knows, then you know your God will probably know too. If she's supposed to be the one, then the also powerful one, then he knows you've had a cheeky wee chug when no one is watching, so best to stop, because the spirits of your lore are watching rent free every time you go and rub one out. And every time you rub one out, that's your less and less chance of you going to the pearly gates. Because, again, you shouldn't be doing it for one, faith, and, well, you're a priest. Come on now. The prison is going mental, as you can imagine. There's shit going on. And the prison, like I said, seems to be more of a prison that's for people who are either criminally insane or like a similar to an asylum type thing, where you pretty much would go, prison's not for you, but they know that you're dangerous, basically, or they claim that you're dangerous. He says something, she moans. A lot of the time, I think the demons are trolls, because they literally, every time they speak, they either give you insults, they puke, they attack, or they say things, or moan at you. Like, it's not a moan like, get that fucking stuff done, it's more like, oh my god, I'm loving this, keep doing this. Yeah, worst ever fucking try of that, because I think if I did, that would turn into OnlyFans content. And now, and I do not have an OnlyFans, even though the bots on Twitch like to tell my audience I do. And now more possessions, contorting bodies, looks like the biggest toe colour these women have ever had, all with chains and forbidden penises. Makes you want that. More forbidden ones, right? This movie just gave me plenty of content of how I don't follow faith and how I'd rather have fun. The entity is taken out with a needle of sedation, yet this never puts them down for long. It puts them into like a stasis where it kind of reminds me of, in the Ghostbusters where Dana has Zool. That kind of thing. That's what I always feel like every time that shows you a woman being possessed. It's like, there is no Dana, only Zool. The entity has managed to be in multiple places at once, meaning they've been waiting and fucking with people to get the priest back, Unfinished business. Because they just, why not fuck with people? What surprises me is that they managed to possess plenty of religious people. When you think they would be pure or they would have some sort of safeguard, actually being a member of the church, being a child of God. They know what God doesn't give a fuck, it seems, basically. So the perfect host for them would be the fact that the bastard child between them, woman, a virgin who's possessed, who ends up kissing a priest, and the priest kissed her back, giving him the okay, it's okay to transfer, and then having a child with them. Child goes inside the woman who was possessed, who still has a calling card for the demon, and then, he was possessed. So even though it wasn't a demon seed, the demon was inside of him. So when he had his happy ending, it's piss poor, but I can see where they're going. It would probably have got the demon or the entity off, knowing that they were in a priest and they had a child. No doubt that probably would have tickled them, no matter where they were. Basically, this transition occurred, and with all the coordination, it's always easy to find where they have been and when they can return. The priests are invoking teamwork to make the dream work. When does that ever happen? We always made an old priest and a young priest, even though technically the young priest was not really that young. Although near was David Carras, actually, he was quite old. It was like the crypt keeper and it was crypt keeper and basically old priest. So again, more conspiracy, and people wonder why I get so bent out of shape with faith when there's so much lies and deceit behind the faith and the truth. What is actually truthful and what is not, and what they keep and what they tell is completely different. Be honest, even with your flock, if not, suffer the consequences of lying, which is part of your faith and part of what you're not to do on your list. Yet it seeps through your faith and you judge others in the process when you are all lying to each other after spending your life and devoting your life to the church, but you lie to everyone. The shroud you create was by you, and you wonder why people find the plot hole, create them while you're lying about everything, because nothing makes any sense. So the priests are old and not so old. One has experience with the entity trying to set the scene of flashing lights, dingy prison and shits about to get real. Down to the prepping the area, doctors there with sedation, lights out, ooh, scary. A jump scare? I bet. The jump scares were pathetic and not scary and very, very predictable. And when you actually expected a jump scare, there was nothing. So it was very anticlimactic in parts. The entity has nothing to fear as they can travel and possess others anywhere it wants to. And if they are in the prison, then why the fuck not? More like old school, take women here when they aren't being subservient enough and let them rot type of place that shouldn't ever exist. But they did this, and most likely still do in places of torture, wanting things for an easy life usually. Jeffrey's like, don't listen, read. Don't take in out anything. It's a tactic to scare you. No shit, Jeffrey. If he actually didn't realise this before, then why the fuck is he still there being a priest and also performing exorcisms when he actually has been possessed himself? Would you even be allowed to be a priest after that? You're in the demon's playground now. You are all fucked. Well done. Game on. The guards and the doctor shitting it. Your man pass won't save you. You fucking dumbass. No, your man pass won't save you. No matter what's fucking in there, no matter drugs, no drugs is going to be able to take them down. Might be able to sedate the host, but that doesn't do anything. It doesn't do shit for the demon. It probably just, again, tickles them and makes them laugh that you're sedating the host and not actually doing anything to them. Even though the body's not working and everything's slowed down, the entity can still do its job and jump to other people and also can do other things. It's like the angry patients of the asylum are aware and they're wandering around you, and again, you are fucked. Again, it gave me very House and Haunted Hill vibes, very evil doctor doing experiments vibe, which is in a lot of movies and TV shows. Dr. Dragon himself, as he's been attacked by the prisoners, he's completely drenched in his own blood, but manages to get to the priest to whisper something, and more prisoners surround Jeffrey and baby daddy priest. His one crucifix ain't gonna save him against the possessed horny entities, it seems. I'm not surprised. Have we seen The Exorcist? Let Jesus fuck you. Come on to fuck now. They stop. They're starling because their eyes are different. The statue has appeared and they talk to Lucifer, an archangel. Yes, so crucifixes and crosses would do nothing to an angel, especially an archangel that has been sent to hell for punishment. So therefore, again, bullshit. Both priests are being tormented by the entities and they are working as one. And Jeffrey has some balls and stabs her with scissors. They are outnumbered, haha, and being chased by angry females wanting blood for being subjected to being there. Which is about fucking time. They probably ended up going more insane and their mental health went into an absolute decline being put in a place like that. especially when you don't have any sort of stimulation for your brain, stimulation around anything else like socialization, because you're there because you weren't subservient enough, and you're there because, well, men can't handle you. So pretty much everyone with a brain has been put in there. Almost said, "Speak, priest, are you carrying sin?" And he realizes the woman is his daughter at this point. Are you carrying sin? Well, technically, she was born from a virgin who was possessed, and then you had sex with her when you were possessed. You also kissed that woman when you shouldn't have kissed her, because that goes against your faith, because you kissed someone. You showed pleasure. You showed things that you technically shouldn't even be thinking as a Catholic priest, or even a Catholic at all, for that matter. So again, he broke his faith, he broke his vows, and he still did it, but he managed to impregnate her. At the end of the day, he is a man who can have children unless he had a vasectomy, which he did not. So therefore, he got her pregnant anyway. So again, a lot of things don't make any fucking sense, because technically he wouldn't just be struck off, he would be completely removed, or he would be put not even in a random derelict parish. Most of the time, they make them go away in fact finding missions so they can fucking most likely touch themselves and think, do I really want to be a priest or not? Again, this happened in Stigmata. Again, lots of things don't make any sense. He confessed but couldn't do the penance, and that's what he's been trying to do. Now Jeffrey's told his figment of his imagination of his soul so he could fight. So they are both sinners, and in the entity's eyes are not worthy of defeating it, because he lied to get the priest to do what he needed to do, which was remove the entity from the possessed woman. Yet he lied to get the job done, which again, a big no-no. No lies. Not even fucking bending the truth. It's still the fucking same thing. Little white lies, you know? So hey. Jeffrey's wounds have killed him. Just as he found out, he went into the lion's nest as a juicy steak, and wonders why they are powerless. The other priest is the father of the host and has an emotional tie to her. Could he save her knowing his essay to the victim, who was possessed by the entity, then he was possessed by said entity, while having the entity in them both at the same time, meaning the entity had sex with itself and created a child, so he continued 18 years down the line. Because again, that's a long waiting game, isn't it? Just waiting for the right moment to say, surprise cockface. So the priest is confessing about everything on a phone, and he said he assaulted her, and the fruit of their sin is the entity's host, and this is his daughter, and this is the confession, and he sends it to the bishop. His life and his present flashing before him, and it's as if the entity knew this needed to happen. Your sin was there all along, hiding in plain sight, because even though he was admitting to himself, he was punishing himself. He was watching his fucking spank bank video of him possessed and having sex with that woman. So yeah, every time, every night before bed, he was watching that. And it sounds dodgy as fuck. It sounds like he was most likely getting off on it and not actually punishing himself, but hey. But punishment could be his thing, you never know. It is for more than you would expect for others. The message was sent, and now commands they leave these sisters of God. Why do they always just say that they're sisters of God? You have put them in a mental institution and asylum. And I get it, everybody can have faith, but come on to fuck, man, come on. Really? Sisters of God? Again, you never asked their fucking permission, you just assumed that they were sisters of fucking God, for fuck's sake. I'd rather be possessed than fucking have that forced upon me. Again, Jeebus carrying the cross, all zombified, very, very Reagan spider crawl, because again, they're trying to do jump scares and it's not fucking scary at all. So, Jeebus, when he died and was entombed, could have made a deal, or he was dead, and there was a vessel laying there, the child of God, and Lucifer possesses and rises again, and then continues its work, and has waited for this all this time to destroy everything, as the religion was built on a lie. From a man with hidden secrets, or an entity with hidden secrets and conspiracies, showing the truth and showing that Lucifer was in fact not wrong, and the worshippers are carrying the sin of the father's father. And the vicious cycle continues. The priest tie his daughter to the chair. Again, the entity of Lucifer and the demons want him out in this creepy behaviour. Leave this body. I know the kids are crashing at once back at the orphanage in the hospital, and the only nun there to care, she is unsure of what the hell is going on and who to save first, because they are all in the same condition. The door is locked, but the archangel is in the room, covered in blood, chanting as the others are in the prison, like they are connected. Leave this body. and the priest in his kink chair is being chained, and he is trying to do a group exorcism and failing, the Knights of Hell command you. The power of Christ compels you. It's a battle of words in scripture. Lord have mercy, the fake Lord lol. Is the Dark Lord really just God in sheep's clothing? Her daughter then screams from her body, "Let me in," as he gives him a choke. It's very hot right now. His body, his seed, demons, will, etc. Blessings? Really? The Lord is with me, the good nun says to Lucifer. He can really be everywhere, just as evil can. Leave my daughter. But he's got to do something first. Yep, he's got to make a sacrifice. Kids are being killed, and it seems that he's seeing it. They are all connected, finally. They are marked. How can he not know that? That's how dumb this priest is. Where they're actually trying to give you an idea of basically how the entity is and how possessions work would be, again, self-explanatory, but hey, they try and dumb it down. What do you want? To troll you, apparently. The entity wants God to exit his body, then everyone will be saved, including his daughter. Then it leaves. The daughter's body, the nun has taken the cross and burned it on Lucifer, of course. And again, this would do fuck all because Lucifer was an angel. Still is an angel, no matter if he was in hell or not. He was the son of God. So things like crucifixes burning him is fucking stupid. But hey, I go through this every time. It makes no sense. And when they actually are, say they're the devil, they usually aren't. And she gets up and the kids were all fine. Staring at her, I doubt they will ever forget this trauma at all and probably carry it through life and punish themselves. Welcome to Catholicism, where PTSD was created and nurtured for generations of pain and suffering and control. Lord have mercy. His daughter is free. He's admitted he's bad. He's claimed her and he's admitting the atrocities he committed during his own possession. Finally, just took 18 years. He's back to touching cloth again. He's forgiven himself, he's admitted his sins, and now he's able to process his penance. Really? I don't believe it. Not the same as giving in to the evils and releasing yourself from God. If he continues to lie to the entity and himself and his religion is another job, another lie, what's the fucking point? That was the exorcism of God, and as I said, a lot of contradictions. These movies tend to have that. So we're going to have Imdb and see what they say about it. So The Exorcism of God came out in 2021, like I said, was an hour and 38 minutes long. It's a supernatural horror thriller. An American priest working in Mexico is possessed during an exorcism and ends up committing a terrible act. 18 years later, the consequences of his sin come back to haunt him, unleashing the greatest battle within. It fucking tells you what it's about right there. Terrible act, then 18 years later. The director's called Alejandro, but I can't pronounce his last name. I'm trying. It's Santiago Fernandez Calvet. Hector Costas, Will Beinbrink, Oscar Flores. That was a mouthful of all those fucking names. So, as we said, we're going to get the information, fun facts that we may not know. Let's delve into it, right? So, we know that it's supernatural horror drama, horror and thriller, what the actual plot of the story is, the director, the writers, and the stars. Eran Castillo, who plays Magali, Patricia Roja's old lady, Joseph Marcel, who's Father Michael Lewis, who is Jeffrey from Fresh Prince, Jesse Caledon, which is the prison guard, and a bunch of people that I don't know because, well, they are not really in it that much because it is a small cast. So the storyline is Father Peter Williams, an American exorcist, is possessed by a demon he was trying to expel from a young woman for which he was forced against his will to commit the most terrible sacrilege. 18 years later, trying to keep his guilt buried under charity work for the poor and children in a small town in Mexico, Peter discovers that the demon has returned. This time it's possessed a young woman named Esperanza, and in addition, it also unleashes a deadly illness among the town's children. But this true purpose is something else: to possess Peter's soul, to exorcise Esperanza. Peter must confess his sin, but if he does, he will condemn himself not only to the fate of excommunication, but also sacrifice his faith, his home, his soul, and the chance to save the people he cares about the most. Pretty much. Let's see what the words they have. They have exorcism, priest, Mexican, orphanage, female topless nudity, four-word title, demonic possession, Mexican actor playing Italian actor, non-exorcist, telekinesis, American in Mexico, orphan, then town, God in title, American, mysterious disease, dead child, Mexico City, Vatican, bishop, prison cell, supernatural horror, Catholic Church, and supernatural R. Wow. Not many words, but enough all the same. So we've done that. I'm going to read out the parental warnings because there should be some good ones there. Where is the parental warnings? I'm trying to actually go down to find parental warnings because it's usually about this area. Trivia, user reviews, cast and crew, all topics, rate. I'm literally trying to find the parental. Oh, there we go. Parents Guide is down here. The tagline for the movie is God and the devil cannot exist in the same body, yet they did. It's a drama horror thriller, like I said. And certificate is a 15. So Parents Guide, it says sex and nudity, moderate. Really? I'd say it was a bit. Violence and gore, moderate. Profanity, mild. Alcohol, drugs and smoking, mild and frightening intense scenes. Severe. There wasn't. What was the severity of the intense scenes? The truth. As the sex and nudity, women expose his breast during an exorcism to a priest. It's not like she fucking flashed him to the world. A priest performing an exorcism on a woman becomes possessed with a demon. He climbs on top of her. We hear him unzip his pants, and the camera pans across the floor as we hear the bed shake from violent thrusting. Acts of SA. A priest sleeps with a woman during her. He doesn't sleep with her. He has sex with her, which is not the same thing, resulting in a pregnancy. Woman is essayed in the process of an exorcism. Violence and gore. A man's ear is bitten off by a demon. Tasty, kind of like jerky. A prison guard sticks his hand through the floor of a cell door. We see his arm get pulled in and he screams. When his arm is freed, we see bloodied hands with 2 fingers missing. The fingers are later vomited up by the demon. At least it wasn't her vagina that ate them. A demon repeatedly stabs a man in the neck, all on screen. An old woman's arm is twisted and broken by the demon possessing her granddaughter. A priest wrestles with a possessed woman wielding a knife. He stabs her and flees, and we see his bloody hand discovering he has been stabbed in his side. A nun discovers a mutilated body of an infant in a shawl on the floor. A possessed woman smashes her head into a wall because that happens, and then you see blood splatter. She bashed her head off a fucking wall. I'm not fucking surprised. A possessed woman is seen violently scratching her arm. We see her arm raw and bloody down to the tissue. Again, we've had an itch that we have had to scratch, and we have not ripped all our skin off, but it means that it's literally they've been scratching for a while. A possessed woman rips the ear off one of the 2 fathers minutes after. There's apparently some racist comments about Mexicans, which is never good. Racism is not good of any sort. Profanity, the father screamed God after having intercourse with a demon. Very upsetting to see. Are you kidding me? The profanity they used was God. Seriously? Wow. And the priest was having sex with a woman who had been possessed by a demon. So the demon wasn't in her at this point. So screaming God is the least of their fucking problems. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. The father is seen drinking mezcal as a way of escaping reality so he can fall asleep. Again, I don't think you're supposed to do that as a Catholic priest, fucking be drinking that shit. It's alright to drink communion wine. So basically, for him to escape reality, he's got to get out his face. Again, he's breaking all sorts of rules of his fucking cloth there. Frightening scenes, apparently 21 out of 25 found them severe. Really, it doesn't tell you how severe they are. A group of demons perform an inversion of an exorcism on a priest, and he's trying to expel God from him. In the name of hell and Lucifer the Father, intense final battle sequence. It's not like they were in fucking war. It was, oh, fucking hell. So basically, most places, Germany had it as an 18, I believe here it says. But everywhere seems to be a 16 or 15 or rated R as it was in the United States. They always make me laugh, these things, because they are, well, laughable. It says, did you know? Is there a did you know? There was a did you know. Before the priest enters the house in the beginning of the movie, the scene where he's standing in the front of the house looking up the window is a homage to The Exorcist. Yes, because I fucking spoke about it. Literally, oh, for fuck's sake. Really? Friedkin didn't fucking have SA in his. He just made a little girl say stupid shit that apparently it was difficult for her. I'm not fucking surprised that she was, well, not distraught or traumatized, probably traumatized. The fact that she said, did say cunt, cunting, let Jesus fuck you, and talk about, things that most children in the 70s wouldn't know, or the 80s at that age for that matter. These days, yes, but not back then, definitely not. Goofs, a priest of the Catholic Church, would attempt to deliver the last rites to a fellow priest as he is dying, particularly if that priest has made a pact with the devil to save someone else and is certain to burn in hell forever. Strengthening a dying person in the relationship with God is a principal priestly function, and allowing his fellow priests to give penance would have essentially saved him from going to hell. But it wouldn't have, because he doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck about this whole showing penance and shit. He did something wrong, apparently possessed. Then he continued to watch his nighttime viewing, which is basically a wank bank, basically, of him watching that over and over again. He's literally punished himself. Oh, he's punishing himself by watching himself have sex with someone. He obviously loves himself too much. Father Michael Lewis, what the fuck is this, Peter? Exactly what the fuck is this, Peter? Father Peter Williams, it's a third world prison. No, it's not. It's basically where they put women to fucking stew, and if they're a problem, then they're put there. Father Michael Lewis, I don't know whether I should spray holy water or bleach. Neither, because none of them will work. So, the movie got 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb. So it was released in Mexico in 2022, but the movie said it was out in 2021, so it may have been out a few years later. Again, a lot of films were supposed to be released a long time ago, and then they weren't, and then everything's coming back. So the budget was 1.3 million, and it made 6.1 million worldwide. So it says estimated, and when they say estimated for the budget, that means that the budget for the movie was 1.3, but then they may have paid more for promo. They probably spent just as much on promo as they did everything else. So it'd be like maybe say 2.6, 2.5 if you're lucky. And then it still made 6.1, so $6,102,053. So, like I said, it actually made way more than what it actually cost, even if you doubled it with the promotion. So we'll go for tens first, and then because they always make me laugh because they're usually written by AI. Surprisingly, very good movie. There has 10 out of 10. There has been no end to the number of exorcism movies made lately, it would seem. Sadly, few are notable. The exceptions include the excellent television series The Exorcist Season 1. That wasn't even good, so okay. Now comes along this movie. The trailer looked promising. The reviews seemed positive for the most part, so we rented it. Well, what a surprise. It was a homage to the OG of the Exorcism movies. No, it wasn't, but didn't stop there. It contributed something new as well. Very surprising and unexpected. Are you kidding me? Did you watch the same fucking movie, or are you just fucking dumb? Bajamba. That's the person who put the review, by the way. Surprised me. Didn't really know what to expect from this. At first, wasn't much. Was just something to watch over the weekend. Ended up really surprised and very nice twist at the end to leave open for a possible sequel that I'm looking for. I would prefer they didn't do a sequel because that's how you ruin the momentum of the original movie. But hey, Kevin Stelvik, apparently, 46945. It's been a long time since I've seen such a good horror movie until today I saw this one. Nice job with the acting, performance, makeup and effects. I'm not going to lie, I laughed at some parts of this movie. Don't care about the bad reviews. Many of them are butthurt by religion. They forgot. I don't understand that person's review, but hey, the great movie, no discussion. The movie speaks for itself. In some parts, made me feel uncomfortable. It's like the old days when this type of movie was good. Sometimes break the rules, and that's good, which is comedy. I agree that the movie was, like I said before, it was good, but the 10 out of 10 stars are hilarious. So let's see, 1 out of 10. Definition of bad, and then it's just a picture of the movie. Wow, they didn't even write a review. Anders Beeder, what the fuck? Worst stinker ever made. Stay away at all costs. I looked at the reviews here first and decided to give this a try despite the negative reviews because of all the 10-star reviews. That was a mistake. Believe the bad reviews, the flicks of turkey. It's interesting what the majority of those reviews seem to know inside information on the film, budget, production, info, etc. Seriously, the film group needs to stop reviewing their own films. If the film stood on its own, it wouldn't require reviews from staff members. If staff have to give it artificial praise, the film failed. Bad directing, bad cinematography, really bad acting, boring plot with excessive dialogue. That about sums it up, which is PSXEX Perton. I disagree. Lionsgate, again, Lionsgate have had some hit or misses in the past. few years. In the past 2 years, they have literally everything's been nosedived. It seems between remakes, reboots, and reimaginings, they really fucked themselves. Well, hard to believe Lionsgate put out this garbage. Are you serious? Lionsgate was in charge of the fucking Crow and Twisters and a bunch of other fucking movies that were shite. Imagine one of those really crap comedy horror flicks from the 80s. Shut the fuck up. Those are fucking awesome. Ridiculously over the top acting. Again, there was no over the top acting. What the fuck are you talking about? Matthias Sorrow. What the fuck? Cheap schlock type effects and makeup. It didn't have a big budget, so they did well, but it didn't matter because it made you chuckle. It did have funny bits in it, and if you're not laughing at a fucking exorcism movie and Catholicism and the Vatican and their bullshit, then what kind of human are you? Now picture that with all the humour removed. I can't believe Lionsgate actually picked this up, let alone released it. Does this review contain spoilers? Nope, the actors, writers and crew already spoiled this crap way beyond what any review could ever do. Blasphemous. I know it seems that this is just a movie, but it's not. The film in itself deserves to be exorcised. Total blasphemous. I would not recommend it to anyone. I have watched some horror movies that were bad before, but this one is the worst I have ever seen. I was so surprised at the end. I felt like I was not able to watch horror movies about exorcism in a while. Not because I was afraid, not at all. It was. You were really scared, weren't you? All the jump scares? Burn humble. Oh, you scared a wee bit of a jump scare? I was disgusted by this movie. I would recommend other movie instead of this. The Name is Left Behind, a 2023 movie, a very useful, and I think a lot of people would love it. Learn a lot from it. Again, you just tried to plug another movie. You did. You tried to plug another movie. So right, it's 5.2 out of 10. So I'm going to actually read the one closer to the actual movie itself. Bad. The Exorcism of God is a movie with plenty of cliches and predictable jump scares. No, the jump scares weren't even jump scares, they weren't even scares to be fair. They were actually funny. The script had potential, it was interesting, but it ended up being a forced and meaningless story. Cinematography is good in night scenes and interior locations, but in daylight scenes is pretty mediocre. The cast overreacts, and the only good performances of Patricia Roja, who performs a special participation. The makeup effects are all well done, making the possession realistic. The computer generated effects are pathetic and laughable. Really, the budget, again, a film with the occasional interesting scene, however, it is not saved from being a bad production that tried to be different within the theme of exorcism. The blatant rip-off of the Max von Sydow scenes, especially from the standing outside the house, again, they said they were paying homage. It wasn't. It was just laughable, and why the fuck are you doing this? Should be a reason to ban this film completely, but it's actually not too bad compared to the other similar movies, that is. I'm worried for my own mental state, as the possessed girl at the beginning was strangely sexy, and if I was a priest, I would be seated next to Satan right now. Fortunately, I'm an atheist, so I'm not too concerned. So hats off to the hero for his willpower. The effects aren't bad at all, and some scenes are powerful, averagely predictable with some decent jump scares and atmospheric in places. My average score is due to the obscene attempts to reproducing classic Exorcist scenes, and you tried but failed. Shame, as it was worth one, maybe or 2 stars more. So he marked it down, this person, Jesuit69, due to the fact that they were trying to pay homage to The Exorcist. You can pay homage to a movie without actually physically showing. There's other things. If you're good at writing, you can have some innuendo in the story that people would pick up on, like myself. Or you could do a really blatant innuendo. It could be picked up by the full audience. But again, it not always happens like that. This movie was a fun take on lies in the Catholic Church, and also showing you how demonic entities actually are, and showing you that they would do the things to not just shock you, but violently and defiantly. And their behaviour shown here are defiance as a privilege. Come for me if you will. But this movie was a different take, again blowing doors open and tongues wagging about possession, good versus evil, and what if this happened, and what would be the execution and solution to this, and how would this be rectified. I enjoyed it for what it was, with possession and religion, the what if story giving us a take from another point of view, and the smoke and mirrors about the things hidden in plain sight in the Catholic Church, and how things disappear because they let it, not because the people involved did so, but the many, many in power behind the cloth that decided to do it for all. Fact or fiction, imagination and reality, movies should have a little bit of both, bringing the mysteries together and creating a story to make the audience think outside the box and discuss what they think, what they have taken from what they processed and what it's like. What did they think? What did they like? What do they disagree with a lot? Especially in this genre and the subgenre of horror, you do get a lot of conflicting personalities and conflicting interests and facts. It happens. It happens with a lot of movies, but it's very kind of subjective when it's religion, depending on who watches it. If you are religious, should you really be watching horror in the first place? Probably not, because of the violence and everything that's in it. But people who may be an atheist or agnostic or maybe part of another faith would watch it and be like, that makes no sense, or really, that's really fucked up, you know? So again, it just depends on where you're coming from, what your background is, and what you actually know, and whether you're interested in these movies. If you've got some sort of, experience with actually watching these movies and be interested in the subgenre, then you're going to obviously have a different reasoning and different review of the movie. So I give this movie 3.5 out of 5. Why so high? So for me, it got me thinking and made me more passionate about what I do here in Confessions from the Dark Side. I speak and discuss topics that maybe not everyone wants to hear or delve into, but I do. And some of you here who listen also feel this way, and we can get passionate and creative together. And that's what being a movie enthusiast is all about, the involvement of many and discussing the topics that are shown may shy away that they may be shied away from. And this movie set off a light bulb and made me want to write about what I felt, what I have seen, and what I have been subjected to by being brought up in this faith, where they dictate instead of teach, because they only want you to know what they want you to believe, and that the audience is wrong on so many levels. If you have a movie that has made you wake up, tell us about it in the comments below. And have you also had the pleasure of watching The Exorcism of God, and what are your thoughts? That was Confessions from the Dark Side presents Reviews from the Dark Side, Exorcism of God movie review. If you like this content, remember to go check out Confession from the Dark Side social media platforms, which are Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think over our social media platforms, and let's get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community and spread how awesome the horror community actually is. If you need to reach out to us at any point, you can go to confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. And if you think there's something that you think I should read, something I should know, or something that I should highlight in my podcast, then please send all your ideas, links, and everything to confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com, and I will look through them and I will cover them here on the podcast. And as you know, I'm Lady Darcy Darkness. This is Confessions from the Dark Side, and I will see you in the next one. That was another review from the Dark Side, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.